Hey everybody, Scott here with Seriously Tech Stuff. Welcome to my desktop again. I didn't bother moving anything because this is going to be kind of a short video. I wanted to talk about this controller and I wanted to tell you some things about it that I don't see anybody else really talking about. And this is the Razer Wolverine version 3. God, it's dirty. And I just want to let you soak it in a little bit. This is a sexy controller, man. This thing is really, really nice. Where's all this dust coming from? I swear, I think somebody comes and eats food on my desk while I'm at work. So just take it all in. Gasp, the buttons are different. Yeah, we're going to get into that in just a second. But, of course, I can't really talk about this without comparing it to the version 2. So this is the version 2, and I know it's blown out from my camera. Sorry, my camera can only do black or white, not both, so I have to, light accordingly. The main difference in these, of course, is the buttons. We're going to start with that because otherwise, the shape, the design is a little different. You've got this cutout right here, and the buttons are in a weird spot. But the shape, like the overall shape, is pretty much the same. So if you have this controller, you may want to watch this video because I'm going to tell you a couple of things that make you decide to keep it. So with this being said, we're going to put this aside for a second, and I'm going to leave that right there. There you go. So you can look at the buttons. Now I'm going to grab it again because I want to talk about it. So the back buttons, I like these back buttons. Everybody hates them. I don't. And this is why. Because when you take this controller and you put it in your hand, you flip it over. Where's your fingers? They're right here. They're not sitting on top of the buttons. So you don't grab it. The Xbox Elite controller, every time I grab it, I push all buttons. I'm like, there's no way to grab it. You have to grab it like this. Okay. Let me do this. Of course, I'm exaggerating, obviously, but the buttons are right here and here. I let my son borrow mine. He hasn't given it back yet. So they come out all the way to this. I've never liked that design because when you're holding the controller, you can't hold the controller. You hold the controller with this. Because these buttons are these fingers are all four of these fingers or just two of these fingers, you're needing to place on those paddles that will push if you squeeze it. And it's a poor design. These are out of the way. You don't need them at all until you want to push the button. Much like this. Like if you don't even have these, what are you going to do? You don't leave your thumb like this and go, no, you have to move around and you hit these. You take your thumb off and you hit these. So it's not quite the same thing. You're moving your thumb around and you're able to hit these buttons, and they're a little bit out of the way. And I like that. Now I'm going to put this aside. Let's talk about this one. These are very clicky. They're like, I think they're optical switches. But if you notice the way that they are molded into the controller, and they do kind of flare out like the Microsoft one, but when you pick this up, you're not putting pressure on the buttons. Very important. My fingers are right here, not right here. So it's very comfortable. So now when you push these buttons, you're not pushing in the back of this thing. You're pulling them. You're squeezing them out. So you can't even tell I'm hitting those buttons, right? But I am. So I actually like this design. It's really nice. It doesn't take away from the feel of the controller and the shape. It's an excellent shaped controller. It's great. The skin is, it's got that textured, no fingerprint plastic to it. And I know it's not a big thing. It is a big thing. It's a big thing for me. These are gray. These are this stupid Nintendo color stuff. I'm like, please, controller makers, stop doing that. We don't need the color. We don't even need to have anything on that. We know what they are. I mean, come on. Who doesn't know what those are? moving on. So, obviously a different design, same shape, feels good. The top buttons up here are a little more stiff than these. You can hear the difference. That's the new one. A little bit more snappy. The triggers are really nice. So you have 2 modes, which is the regular, like I'm, doing a racing game, that kind of thing. Okay, and then you do this. And normally what happens is it just stops them. But it doesn't. It turns them into buttons. Listen. That's like a mouse button. It's like a mouse click. Very, very nice. And of course, you do have these top buttons right here. They're pretty much the same. I use these. I don't know about you guys, but these are the buttons on these. So instead of pressing down on this, I actually push this. I like that a lot better because it helps my crippled hand not go, and it kind of hurts a little bit. So we got a button right here. Hold this down. This does your up and down for your volume and everything if you're using the 3.5 millimeter. Also, if you hold down this and hit the X, it is for Xbox. So if you hold down this, and then hit A, it goes to PC. And if you're wired, it is 1,000 megahertz polling rate. If you don't know what that is, if you haven't watched my mouse videos, it's a faster input. Now, I really haven't felt that much of a difference at all. Plus, in PC mode, playing on PC, sometimes you will turn this on and it will, it'll think it's a mouse. Your mouse quits working and this will move your cursor around. I don't know why. I have to quit direct input and let it come back up, and it does fine. But software wise and driver wise, this needs a little work. Also, for some reason, if I have it in PC mode and I'm playing something outside of Steam, it starts bringing it. I hit A and it brings up the Steam keyboard. I hit X, it brings up Steam. I'm sure that's probably something in Steam, but I have to shut Steam down to play something in, like, say, the Xbox app or Good Old Games or something like that. Really, really weird. But I'm sure they'll fix that. It's Razer. They'll fix it in 6 or 7 months. But the software for this, it's the same software. It's the same Xbox controller software to where you can go in and assign buttons and everything. And, of course, you can do this. Check this out. I know it's not Razer without the RGB, but the RGB is it's inside the controller. It's pretty nice, but honestly, I haven't changed it because I don't really care. A nice little touch, and it does make it look, a little bit higher quality. So now, what else has changed? The sticks. The sticks are Hall Effects sticks. These use magnets instead of actuators for movement. And what does that mean exactly? I don't want to go into the whole thing because I don't totally understand it. But basically, using the old style sticks, they don't drift. After a while, they won't start drifting. You have to either buy a new controller or take this thing apart and do that. So they feel really nice. They're really smooth. They have a little bit more tension on them than this one does, which I'm not too keen on. I like my sticks to be a little loose, but that's just me and it's just preference. But you can't control it. There's no way of doing the tension. The Elite controller does have that option. I think that's fantastic, but they got terrible paddles, and they don't last very long. So these sticks are the regular sticks, and these are the Hall Effects. Honestly, like I said, the difference to me is the tension. You probably really can't tell the difference in these, except after a year when that one starts drifting all over the place and this one does not. So that's really cool. Okay, so now we need to get down to what's going on with this, and you're probably asking me, well, what about the wireless? Well, that's why this is not a true review, because when I got this from Amazon, you get these little things that come in it like that. and you get these 2 sticks, and you get a longer stick, and I assume you get a domed stick. As you can see, is missing, and I guess it would go right there. Guess what else is missing? See that little slot right there? Yeah, that's the dongle for the wireless. So I contacted Amazon. I thought, hey, can you contact Razer and maybe, get me another one? They're like, no, just return it. I'm like, well, you don't have any. Anyway, so I got to return this and wait till they get some more in. But to be honest, I will probably just wait and get the wireless. I mean, the wired one that just plugs in wired, because I've been using this wired. My USB hub's like right there. I don't really need wireless anyway. If you want this for Xbox and your TV is across the room and your Xbox is across the living room, then yes, wireless. I think it's worth the extra $100 maybe. I don't know. That just really depends on you. And again, this is $199.99. This is where we are with controllers now. When this came out, I believe this was $159.99. I may have to look that up. Now you can get these for like $79. Still a really good controller. I do recommend it. And again, if you have this, you may want to get this. Or unless you're one of those people that say, hey, I'm playing this kind of game, I want to pop these off, and I want to put my different sticks on. Boom, boom. If you do that a lot, let's get into this. So these are the regular sticks, and I'm going to take one of these off. And check this out. Okay, if my camera, let's see if I can add a little light to this. Let's see, yeah. Focus. Focus. I don't think it's going to focus on that little thing. But it's basically just a slotted hole. And then on this guy, this will focus on this. See that little arrow and that little bead? So that bead is what holds it on. But you've got to get this guy. Let's see. Come on. See that little arrow? You got to match that teeny tiny arrow. You've got to match up so that it clicks in exactly right there. If you don't, it will not go on. So, if you're playing, Sea of Thieves, and they're like, hey, we're going to play Call of Duty, and you need to go get your other sticks, it's going to take you a second. Because you have to do that. And, of course, this is the same way. As you can see, it only goes on one way. And I'm... if you're like me and not read the instructions, I'm like, why did this not go on? What is wrong with this controller? What is wrong with me? Until you actually, stop, read the instructions, and notice that there is a non-focusing camera. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, there it is right there. Right there. So you got to make sure that you get that in the exact spot. That is, I don't know. Razer, are you okay? Are you well? What kind of design is that? This is the old version. You take this off. Look. It's got a come on. I'm starting a GoFundMe to get a camera. Anyway, you got this little star slot that's magnetic. And it goes in the star slot right there. And you do have to turn it a little bit to get it in there. But it just snaps and you're good. Same thing with this. I can do this without looking at it. Look, I'm not even looking at it. Boom. Done. A little bit harder than the Elite controller, which is kind of magnetically. You could throw it across the room and it'll go, but they don't, they don't come off as easily. These don't come off easily at all. But at the same time, now, I am not one to change these. I very rarely change these at all. I don't use the taller stick. I usually use this right here and then the domed one here, which did not come with. And I'm good. So that to me is not a big deal, but you need to know that that is not something that you're going to be able to just grab your other sticks and go plop, 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 plop. I don't know why they thought of that design. It just, and honestly, I get kind of tired of manufacturers not having compatible parts to newer versions. Like, why is this not compatible? There's nothing wrong with this design at all. There's nothing. Why is it not compatible? Why don't you sell those on your website? Like, you know, maybe I want 2 tall sticks because I'm insane. Why not? Why? I don't understand that. So, yes, premium controller, very well constructed. Feels great. Buttons are nice, even though these are just a tad mushy for my taste. The D-pad is epic. Top buttons, the feel, rubber coating. These back buttons are super nice. That, I don't know. So, yeah, just a weird design choice for that. And really, if it's not a deal breaker for me, but you have to know that. And I've not seen anybody really mention that in a way that's like, well, this is how you put the stick on. And great. But you need to show how difficult that is when you're not looking at it. You're looking at your screen. It's dark. There's, you know, just put those on like that. Done. These. Take these off. And then put them... You know, I mean, you might be better at that than I am, but I just wanted to show you that. You need to know that if you're thinking about getting this controller. Turn that light off a little bit. Come on, stop it. You know, it's one of those things. I think it's something worth mentioning. Otherwise, also worth mentioning, the sound coming out of this is good. I know that sounds funny, but I've got multiple controllers, and the sound is different in some controllers. Some controllers, especially cheaper ones, don't sound as good. You probably don't notice it. I do, because I'm just a nerd like that. So, yeah, if you got this controller and you really like it, and you swap your sticks a lot, don't bother. You got a good controller. If these start to, you know, drift, or if you have issues with this, I mean, if you need to buy another one, you might want to consider upgrading to this. But just knowing that it's not going to be easy to change these sticks out like it is this one, or their previous one, the version 1, which was just like, you know, the things were like that big around. Just boom, boom. I mean, it was super easy. So otherwise, I enjoyed using this controller. Razer did send me this via my credit card, giving it to Amazon, but they're getting it back because of those missing parts. And I hope if you get one, you fare a little better. The wired version of this comes out supposedly on the 27th. So I think I'm just going to wait and get that one, save myself $100, and hopefully it will have everything in the box, and then I can play it for a while and give a full review for you guys. So in the interim, have a great day and keep on playing.